Inspect and maintain your refrigerant hoses. They are a very important part of your refrigerant tools. Make sure there's no cuts or nicks in the hoses. Keep your hose seals and shredder valve depressors in good working order. Never store your gauges under pressure. Vapor bleed off is a de minimis according to the EPA. And you want to make sure that if you're dealing with the higher pressure refrigerants like 410, that on your liquid side, sometimes you might get some oil in there. You might want to let that drain out because the oils don't mix. These refrigerant hoses are only rated at 2500 psi burst pressure, 500 psi maximum working pressure. These hoses were normally used with refrigerants R12, R22, and 502, which are lower refrigerants. They cannot be used on R410A. That's a high pressure refrigerant, or a higher pressure refrigerant, I should say. These refrigerant hoses are more common of what we get with our refrigerant gauges that we purchase now. These are for higher pressure refrigerants like your R410A. They have 4,000 burst pressure. They also are 800 psi working pressure rated. These are what you should have on your gauges now if you're doing residential and commercial where you're dealing with the R410 units. These refrigerant hoses are 4,000 psi burst pressure, 800 psi working pressure rated. The refrigerant hoses have come in with manual shutoff valves for low loss, and the EPA recommends using low loss fittings, but it is required that you use them if you're doing service work or if you're using recovery equipment. This refrigerant low loss manual shutoff is only rated to 500 psi. It has been taken out of service. EPA recommends 800 psi rated hoses and low loss fittings for the high pressure refrigerants. The refrigerant hoses used for service and also used with recovery equipment must have low loss cutoff valves that either manually or automatically close. This upper low loss fitting, these you can buy these. You can buy add-on manual shutoff valves to put onto your regular refrigerant hoses. This one here is rated 800 psi rated refrigerant manual shutoff, and the hose that it's attached to is a 4,000 psi burst pressure, 800 psi working pressure hose. These are the current hoses that we're getting now. You can also go ahead or you can buy the refrigerant hoses that already have the manufacturer installed low loss cutoff valves on them, and they come with a extended about 6 inches extension to tie onto your refrigerant unit, so you can read your pressures and that sort of thing. It makes them a little bit easier to shut off. You're only losing a little bit of refrigerant there when you do your disconnect. With our refrigerant hoses and also our low loss fittings that we put on the end, regardless whatever kind that you have, we have to maintain them. We have to check our hoses to make sure that they don't have any cracks or splits or they haven't been cut, because they have to maintain under pretty high pressure. On the ends where we hook up to our units, the rubber seals and the little shredder valve depressors can be replaced. They're easy to pick up in any of the air conditioning supply houses. Whenever we're hooking them up and they start leaking or they're not giving you your pressure unless you have to really crank that thing down, then you need to replace those seals and depressors. Take care of your refrigerant hoses and gauges, and they will take care of you and your customers. Keep them clean, keep them well maintained, and keep them safe. Don't let them roll around in your truck.